Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eye on Icon. And with me, as always, David. How are you, man?
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm well. How are you, Fez?
I'm good. I'm good. Got a bit of an itchy eye, but I think hay fever time. Apparently, you reach a certain point in your life, and suddenly you have hay fever all the time when summer comes around. So I don't know how this stuff works, but
I have not hit that point yet.
no, it's coming. Lucky. I
Yeah.
wish I was you right now. Um, but no, otherwise, all good, man. I don't know if you remember, David, a couple of weeks back, as a joke, I said, build an Iron Icon website. I was
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah. You were joking, but I took it to heart, and I figured, why not give it a go? So, is this you alluding to our very, very first news item of the week?
I am. I am. This is how I've just led into it. No, not gracefully. Just I'm so impressed right now that I wanted to give you the limelight. So you've gone in 2 weeks and you've smashed out this website, and it's not templated. Like you've coded it, right?
It's not just me. It's Next.js. It's Tailwind. It's a bunch of frameworks and packages that are floating around out there. So yeah, when you're coding a website, it's actually quite a lot is done for you already. But yeah, I pasted. It's not WordPress, so to speak. I pasted us together a website. It's EyeonICON.xyz, and this is the big premiere of it.
So
Yeah, you love the features, don't you?
I just a first feature I need to highlight. So yes, we did have a website. It was built by a community member, which I'm always eternally grateful for. David's revamped it now, and apart from a few things we're going to go into, one of the killer features at on day dot. This is not something that got added a month later. Night and day mode. Yeah, I hear this is all the rage, especially when people actually promote now. There's their website has night mode or anything, but this we've launched with this feature. So amazing work, David. This is pretty awesome.
Thank you very much. Why don't you enter?
Okay, let's in night mode. Okay, let's enter. So this is the new website, everyone, and let's click enter. And the next thing that you're going to see is
Bang.
vote for the Ion Icon validator. We are officially a validator, and we are going to be securing the blockchain that is Icon. So this is pretty cool. Why has it got a Connect wallet, David?
It's got a Connect wallet because if you're an icon validator, you want people to vote for you. And we've made that functionality available on the website. We have to place a big shout out to Paul, a Blobble World developer who has actually come in and plugged this in for us because, I might be able to copy paste together a website and you might be very good at doing podcasts, but none of us knew how to create an icon validator node. So Paul stepped up, helped us out, built in this functionality so you can actually connect your wallet on our website and allocate some votes to us. And even that is just become a colorful roller coaster. So why don't you hit the Connect Wallet button and just show the people what that looks like? And if you're listening, yeah, you're gonna have to just visit EyeonICON.xyz in your spare time to go and have a look to see what that looks like.
Okay, let's do it. So I've hit Connect Wallet. Okay, obviously I've connected my wallet to this, so the first time, be warned, it'll ask you to authorize it. And after you authorize it, if for some reason this does not load up and look like this, do the old-fashioned refresh, and this is what you're going to be hit with. Oh my god, okay, there's a lot of information being thrown at me. I'm excited. Okay. Let's go through box by box, David. This is the highlighted featured news. Okay, so we're going to spend some time. We dish out all the other ecosystem news every week, but this time we're going to focus a little bit on us. Thank you,
Yeah,
David.
I've got a tip for everyone out there. If ever you get presented with a ton of information and it gets a bit overwhelming, you always start top left.
Top left. Okay, let's go. You have ICX delegated to inactive. Oh, validators. What do you mean? Like, so people have voted on validators that aren't securing the network anymore?
A validator's gonna validate, but there's a bunch of validators out there. They've got votes, but they're not validating any blocks, so they're not helping secure the network. We've actually used the rhizome tracker to identify these inactive icon validators. And if you have accidentally maybe got some votes floating around that have gone to inactive validators, we've just made it very easy for you to whip them over, slap them into the EyeonICON validator. So Fez, I could see that you've delegated 3 ICX to inactive icon validators.
Yep, apparently. So which one of these is inactive? Let's hit it. I'm going to hit the button. Okay, so I've hit the button. As you can see, it's asking me to authorize. I'm going to authorize it, and it's just a UI, right? It's actually we're not a middle party, so people shouldn't panic about authorizing, and it gives us permission to do anything. It's nothing like that. It's just literally authorizing the actual function to do the transfer.
Yeah, you do this in HANA Wallet.
Yeah.
Or in some other icon wallet, but in this case, the interface is on our website, so you don't have to like dive into other places. We've made it very easy, obviously, because we want to make it easy for people to vote for us. Yeah, you've done so now.
Cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah, EyeonICON wasn't here before, and boom. Okay, we're ranked 54. Cool. So that's taken inactive votes and put it to us. Awesome. Now that box has disappeared because we have no longer voted for an inactive node. What's the next one? Support your local podcast. 30% of your staked ICX is delegated to EyeonICON. Okay. So off your staked ICX, so it's not taking all the ICX you have in your wallet. It's only flagging what you already have staked and giving you the option if you want to.
You should make it 100%.
100? Oh, wow, okay. And not sharing the love, huh? Okay, let's see what happens here. In the spirit of sharing, David.
No, do 100.
Oh my god, okay. Doing 100. Vote. Again, authorize, and let's see what happens. What's the 0, David? Why is the 0 coming up? We'll have to debug that.
That wasn't actually on the screen. It wasn't visible.
Okay. It was for me. Okay, so
we've got debugging to do.
Oh, there we go. So, look at this. You have delegated all your staked ICX to us with a love heart. Look at this. We care. Okay. And now I'm only voted for EyeonICON. So that slider, depending on what you pick. So if you pick 95%, it would just reshuffle off the other nodes and put 95% of them, or 50% or 20%. So
yeah. I read somewhere that everyone should have 10% at least allocated to the EyeonICON validator node. It's like a staple, percentage, 10%. I read that, so it's probably true. So that's why the slider comes in handy. So you can always allocate 10% to EyeonICON, like civic duty, is it called?
Yep. And you know what, David? So many times people have said, "Is EyeonICON going to run a node?" I always, it's like, no. Here we are. We're doing it. So everyone who's ever said it, show some support. Every vote helps. The next box we've got, use your BOM now. Everyone should know this already, but if you're an OHM user and you have some OHM and you've especially locked it up for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, depending on what you do, you get a percentage of allocation of ICX, the SICX that's in the pool, to allocate it to validators. Now, for this one as well, I'm not going to click because I don't have any. This is a temporary wallet. I don't have any OHM or anything like that, but we've built that also into... when we, David and Paul, have built it in, so you don't have to leave the EyeonICON site. You can just click a few buttons, either add us as one of the 5 validators on the OHM site, so that any of the ICX gets directed to our node, or you can allocate it all. So we want to give you options.
You must have used this wallet for a tutorial or something, because it says you have already delegated your bonded OHM votes to 4 validators.
Okay.
So you can add our node to that list.
Let's see, what have I done here? I don't recall this. This is my tutorial wallet, actually. Oh, there we go. Dang. Oh, no, I haven't. It's just defaulted. Okay, cool. So let's check it out. Add AOI. It's giving me the thing to authorize. Oh, but I haven't got any boosted. Oh, I don't know. I can't even remember, man. I got too many wallets.
Yeah, I think you do. So, yeah, you've just added Ion Icon to the lists. So what happens if you have...
There we go.
Right. You must have locked up like 1 ohm for like 4 years because you have very little, that translates to
10
ohm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with a click of the button, we've been added to the list in the ohm votes as well. So these are multiple ways that you can vote for the Ion Icon node. And all you have to do is visit the website, and it's just an easy little interface for you to come and support us. The big box that you're looking at right now, Fez, this is actually where you can set your Icon stake. So if you have Icon in your wallet, but it is not staked, you can do that here too. So you don't have to go into wallets. You don't have to look for tabs, do this and that. You can actually set your stake on the Ion Icon website. So that's also another functionality that we're offering.
Awesome. I love it. Cool. So giving everyone options, that's great. I actually love the node, the feature where dead nodes, validators that aren't doing anything, you can clean it and actually put it to a validator that has been supporting Icon for over 139 episodes, 34, 35 episodes. My goodness, time has flown. Okay, let's keep moving. What's next? So you can subscribe. You have all the episodes obviously show up, and there's a bit of a written section as well.
True thing. There's a blog section. If you scroll all the way up, you've actually clicked the blog.
Yeah,
this is one I posted. I think
wow.
people should just go and have a look at them.
Okay.
Look, sometimes we've got stuff that we want to share or chat about or show off that we can't really do on the podcast, or we think about it like afterwards. We're like, oh, that was actually really interesting, or we might refer to something that we want to talk about. So we've just gifted ourselves a little blog section where we can put that information up, and it will just show up whenever we post. It might not be a lot, it might be more than you'd expect, but that's there.
Cool.
Click that little button that brings you all the way back up.
Oh, sleek. Oh, I love it. Okay. This is pretty cool. So we're sponsored by the monks. Ohm Monks. They're getting a little feature as well as a sponsor. Is this what we'll do for all our sponsors, David?
I think if you sponsor Ion Icon, you deserve exposure. So yes is the answer.
So thank you, monks, for sponsoring us. It makes everything worthwhile. Cool. Okay, what did you want? I feel like you're itching to show something else, David.
Oh, look, there's just a couple of tabs that we've got going. We've got episodes up top there. That's a page that might be helpful if you're looking for a certain episode, or if you're looking for a certain type of episode. We've got some categories going that you can click on this page. Interviews, weekly news. It'll just shuffle the episodes to show you the latest of what we've got going. And if you find one that you were looking for, you can hit the play button as you do, and it will load it up top and start playing. So you don't even have to leave for YouTube. You can just watch them here, although we would appreciate the likes and the subscribes, because it kind of helps us as well. Yeah. The next page we've got going is the blog page. Now this is what we were just talking about. It's got blogs that we might want to post. I think in this is EyeonICON.xyz blog, I kind of highlight the tools that I used to build this website with as well. So cool. It's just a little list of what's on the website. And then last but not least, you can now slide in our DMs. So if you want to leave us a message, drop us some news, if you've got an opinion that you want to share, you're welcome to do so. You slide in our DMs. We've made it very easy for Vitalik to do so with the placeholders. But you just fill in your name, your email, and your message. It will arrive, and we might just open up a little user email section in the podcast where we can just talk about subjects that you guys want to talk about or want us to talk about. So and that is the end of it. Yeah.
And David, if you do get an email from EOIFan1@gmail.com, I swear it's not me. Okay, so. Just be warned.
For the first 5 to 10 emails we get, I'm going to be very cautious that all of them are actually you.
EOI fan 1, fan 2, fan 3. Oh, it's going to be a good week. Okay, Cool. So that's everything about Iron Icon. Appreciate everyone's support. This has literally happened thanks to David and Paul's hard work in the background, and the entire community constantly sticking by us and supporting through ups and downs of anything happening in the Icon ecosystem, which has been fantastic. Thank you all. So now let's move on to the news. Enough about us. Let's talk about everyone else.
Yeah, so the next news item is actually this shows that we're not really good at our mission and at our job, because what we want to talk about is the EyeonICON.com website. It's this kind of like an icon pitch website launched by Parrot9, and it is a very good link to share with people who want to learn why ICX, like what is it for, what does it do, what is it aiming to accomplish. It popped up out of nowhere. It got shared around a bunch, and then we forgot to mention it. We forgot to cover it.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Vez?
No, look, I love it. I was actually just thinking we need to get it on the icon.community site as a link so people can click on it in one of the drop-down boxes, because it's got a ton of information, which is fantastic. You can see a lot of love, care, and dedication. Anything Parrot9 do, you know, it's got that touch all over it. There was something, I found this feature quite cool. How it's showing that's pretty cool.
It's showing the bridge hacks that have happened in the past, and like with animated lines, the amounts of money that's been lost. You know, we're talking billions.
Yeah, all added up, insane. I didn't realize the Ronin was so bad. 650. There was a feature. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. It may be in another tab, but. Yeah, so you can see everything. It's telling you the average fees, a whole bunch of stuff. What I do love as well is the glossary. I found this was pretty good. It literally takes every terminology you can think of and breaks it down and simplifies it. Honestly, David, like if I was in other communities and people were saying, oh, hey, you know, APRs, for example, APR and APY is one of the most misunderstood abbreviations of what they actually are. And to help them, I would literally send them to this. So I'd go, take a look at this. This breaks down and will tell you a ton of information that is put together far better than you would find Googling it. So kudos to them. The Get ICX button. I think this is what I loved. I loved how it showed all the different support. But I loved this little widget. You can actually buy it like straight off the site.
That is good.
I feel like I want this in more places. I was having a conversation today, and this kind of came up, is how do we get ICX more accessible, where users don't have to jump through any hoops. They can just look at something, click and buy. And I feel this is kind of it.
What happens if you click buy?
Well, it uses these services, so you just have to verify. You know, you have to have an ID, and then you can pay with the credit card, and bam, you're an owner. Not financial advice, but yeah. Overall, sensational site. I think I'll stop there.
Yeah, go visit EyeonICON.com.
Yeah, and you know, while you're at it, tell Parrot9 what a good job they did, and to keep building more things like this. Cool. Next up. Okay, grants. So we touched on this. Now, don't judge the site, judge the information in it. So a lot of people, if you're looking to build an icon now, it's well known in the community. You can go to CPS, and that's really where you should be going. But did you know there are various different types of grants that are issued via the foundation or to build on Icon? David, did you want to cover some of this stuff?
Yeah, so we're looking at build.icon.foundation. This is a part of the new icon.foundation website, and it kind of takes a step back from the icon project as we report on and as we know, and it kind of takes an overarching role as the foundation, because the foundation manages not just the icon project, but it also carries responsibility for the Ice and Snow project. It also carries responsibility for the BTP upcoming ecosystem. So this website kind of it's overarching. The foundation is, above all of that. And in doing so, they have a bunch of different grant systems that are designed to have funds flow to builders who build in one of these ecosystems. And they're listed here on build.icon.foundation/grants. You might know some of them. We've got the Icon Foundation grants, which is, I think, grants that you would apply for directly to the foundation. Let's say you want to build some core infrastructure or some, I would think something very intrinsically hard, and you would go directly. They lead, by the way, to GitHub pages that, because it's open source, right? We've talked a lot about this, and to me, like, my impression is the GitHub is basically the language of open sourceness. Everything is available on GitHub. Next, we've got the contribution proposal system, which we all know as the CPS. This is where projects and dApps can go in and actually get decentralized funding. So the decision making is done by icon validators. Did you know that we are an icon validator and that we now get to vote? We get to vote on CPS proposals, so we can actually talk about them and we can ask our listeners what they think of CPS proposals, and have them slide in our DMs, share some opinions, and have our votes based on what EyeonICON listeners might think or might want to share. Next, we have the ICE developer grants. This is the grant system for the ice and snow ecosystem. And last but not least, the massive interoperability incentive program, which is aiming to kick in, I think, after the interop tech has been audited to a certain degree. A lot of funds outlined here. I don't think a lot of people know or knew the different types, of funding. And now there's a place where you can actually see and understand how this whole machine works and how certain funds, you can click them and you can learn about how to apply if it's applicable to you. So that's my piece on grants. I think it's really good that this information was always floating around. It was just never bundled and presented, and now it is. And the way it looks, I think visually is like in between EyeonICON.xyz in terms of aesthetics and GitHub. It's like floating in the middle.
Okay, no, I have to say I'm damn right impressed with the EyeonICON website. I'm in fact blown away. So I don't know. I'm not putting these in the same category, but I'm a little bit biased. But overall, I agree with you, David. This is a great source of information. Now if you're wanting to, especially snow launching. The teams, there is grants there. If you're thinking about building and Solidity is just easier, then that's where you should be going and looking at these things. So cool, grants covered. Next up, the blog. Okay, snow news. Shall we need to, this week is like snow week, isn't it? The airdrop. When airdrop, David?
Definitely. When it happened, the snow airdrop launched, the claim launched, the functionality launched this Monday, the 17th, and so did the distribution of Crowdloan contribution rewards. So if you participated in the Crowdloan, you were also going to get ICZ or snow tokens. A big undertaking. Lots of people with their eyes on this. It all went well, I believe. Like, I don't know about you, but I claimed my airdrop, not a problem. Then I went and had a look in the snow.subscan explorer, and I could see that Crowdloan contribution rewards were dropped into my address as well. So altogether, I was happy with that. I've seen a lot of people on the internet asking questions about Ledger implementation. I don't use a Ledger, but in terms of security, it's the smart thing to do. So a lot of people, but then building Ledger compatibility isn't always as straightforward. So when claiming the airdrop, I don't believe you can claim it to a Ledger. But if your original Icon wallet is on a Ledger, you're still eligible and you can still do it. You just cannot claim it. You cannot claim your snow tokens to a Ledger. I think that's the story there.
Yeah. The team at Hannah have done a fantastic job. They've put together some guides. Obviously, I created a tutorial more around how to use HANA to make it simple. I can't look at a screenshot of myself. And then I also reached out to MJ from HANA, their team, and they put together a ledger guide as well that will get published shortly. So because there is a way to claim it, and this is probably, I also unfortunately don't use a ledger, and I'm just not sure. So the way you get sure is you use it, and then you can play around and bash all the buttons till you figure it out, but haven't had that experience yet. So I just didn't cover it in the tutorial, and it turned out that we got hit with that a fair bit. The team was constantly getting asked these questions. You could see it in Discord. So there was a way to do it, and now the team at HANA have created a guide, and it'll get published shortly. So stay tuned on that. But overall, though, yes, let's skip that. Huge success. But David, really, in all honesty, when's the next airdrop?
When?
Exactly. Now, literally, I after this went live, I jumped into the Icon Discord, and people were asking when the ice airdrop's going to happen. It's like, but you just claim, enjoy the moment, people. Enjoy it. Even on Twitter, some of the comments, when's the next airdrop? It's like, anyway, all good.
Yeah. Yeah, what you could like you could read one of the announcements for once, and then you would probably get the information you seek. I think that would help a lot of people because the information is out there and it's presented. And if you don't know by now, the snow chain is a parachain in the Kusama ecosystem, and the ice chain will be a parachain in the Polkadot ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So there is a certain road that you need to, a certain route that you need to take to get there, and that's nowhere near at the moment. So we've just finalized it with snow, I believe. So it would be a while. That would be the logical answer.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's easier to ask, and I've also read that if you ask more often, it speeds up the process. So, if you go out and kind of like harass Twitter accounts with the same question more often than not, yeah, it speeds up development. Its correlation is obviously clear.
You picked a sore topic for David. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to. So one other thing quickly as well, the team have updated. So originally, Snow wasn't available in this list, especially if you're using Polkadot.js, and there was a link floating around that gave you access to it. But now it's officially in the Polkadot.js site, and you can pick the chain, which is great to see. Yeah. Cool. When you hit switch, I'm already on the chain. This is the tutorial wallet, and I'm a poor man on here. Okay, so that's a bit about the airdrop. Great. Then we had other news drop. Or did you have some other thing you wanted to cover, David?
No, sorry. I was just asking when the next airdrop was again in Discord and in Twitter. But
please, we need to speed up the process. Just
yeah.
We should ask Paul to create a bot. You know how he's done the craft sweeping the floor prices? A bot every 5 seconds. When airdrop and cool little sentences.
Yeah, because see, what I imagine then is that these developers, they're just sitting around having a sandwich, and the supervisor comes in and he goes like, "Hey, why are you not developing?" And they're like, "Bro, like no one's even asking like when it's gonna be." And then the developer, like the supervisor, he goes, yeah, they are. Check this channel. And then there's like, 20 questions, like when? And then the developers go like, oh my God, I'm motivated now. And they like gobble down their sandwich,
throw their sandwich and start pounding away.
They run over and they start developing like their asses off. And, that's just, it's the way it is, Fez. So enough on that.
If this has actually happened in the Snow team, please come on the podcast and tell us about it. We want to hear the retold. Okay, David, what's next?
The Everest swap DEX update that dropped, interestingly enough, from the Snow team on the Snow website. It's basically giving information on when the Everest swap will go live, which is the 31st of October. And it's also casually dropping a launch date for the Snow Staking Vault, which is also on the 31st of October.
Oh, yes.
So big day right there. That's about 1.5 weeks away from this recording. Yeah, and it kind of gives a little introduction on the Snow airdrop claim being successful, the Crowdloan reward distribution being successful, about the team wanting to monitor the network to check for any, security issues, if everything is stable and good, and also to follow through with their development roadmap for this chain. See, the Everest swap DEX is an EVM based. It's a Uniswap fork. It's an Ethereum dApp essentially, and it will run in the EVM compatible environment on the Snow blockchain. And that environment is being set up. So it's in the roadmap. It's kind of being set up. The Explorer is being set up, and all those things are supposed to happen here in October. So those will be in place when the Everest swap launches. That's what's happening on the 31st. And then the Snow Staking Vault, which has been alluded to in previous announcements as well. This is the vault where you can lock up your Snow token and receive an interest on it, like that too on the 31st of October.
Yeah. So look, I'm glad to see this personally. Look, I was very worried. I saw Everest swap going to launch. And I know in the background we were trying to get information of what other incentives are there, because if the DEX launched and you can't stake because the parachains work a little differently and they go through phases. So while there's collators, at the start there's a limited amount of collators that actually send the information to Kusama until it's done a certain amount of time frame, and then the network evolves into more collators. Think of it as validators to simplify it, come into the picture, and it gets more decentralized from that point of view. But overall, my worry was, well, if there's no incentives, people are just going to go and try and sell their tokens. And if there's no liquidity incentives either, if there wasn't going to be any, well, even more so, things are just going to go to crap. So it's good to see that everyone's collaborating here a little bit longer. I've seen a lot of uproar. Team, I entertained the guy who was being a bit critical, but then I've noticed that any step he's being overly critical, this person on Twitter, and it's like, well, no, either we just launch a DEX and give people are just going to sell because there's nothing else to do but sell your token. You can add liquidity, but you're not getting incentivized for the liquidity. You're only going to bank on fees, and your fees, you may get a bit, but at the end of the day, your pool will skew towards a token that keeps going down in price because there's no liquidity. Oh my God, I could just go in circles with this. But so postponing it, where all of a sudden you're giving a use case where users can actually stake their Snow. Who knows? Maybe if fate would have it, the pools are incentivized in some way. If there are options on the table, it's already creating value, utility for Snow, versus you can just dump the token. Anyway, rant over. I love this change. I'm glad everyone's working together to push this out. And what was the other part I wanted to... yes, the thing that, David, you talked about, and I know we covered this in my tutorial. I mentioned chains. I used the word your substrate chain and EVM chain. Just to clarify, like, they're not multiple chains. It's, as you know, Snow and Ice were going to be a substrate, EWASM, and EVM, or there were a few compatibility layers. So when you think of EVM, so substrate is the chain, the language, it has a certain type of address. It's still the same chain, but they've built in this EVM layers, but the EVM layer has its own unique address. So your substrate Polkadot address has like EVM, like your MetaMask Ethereum style address connected to it. And that's what that layer is. So it's the same chain. I don't know why when I was making the content I referred to it as chains, but they're just individual addresses. And one address takes advantage of the EVM layer and the other works on the substrate layer. If you think of it like that, that's how it operates.
it's pretty complex actually to wrap your head around it. A lot is starting to make sense now, but this stuff has been around but we didn't touch off of this because we were looking at Icon and our own developments and what was happening there. And now for the first time, there's use cases for, because Icon, this is an extension chain to Icon. So it basically is going to cater to what Icon wants and needs. Developers in the Icon ecosystem who want to build EVM can now do so as well. This is the first time that for me, touching off of all of this theory in practice, like seeing it and now getting a better understanding of the differences between, like, before I didn't even know that the Polkadot blockchain language was Substrate.
It's so funny. Yeah, me too. Me either. You hear it, but you don't. Your brain doesn't process it like when you spend more time in day to day doing things.
People can tell me anything. Like up to a couple of months ago, you could still tell me anything, and I would be like, "Oh, right, okay." You could shill me anything, and I'd probably buy. You could tell me any story, and I'd probably believe, because once you start learning more, you realize how little you knew before, and you look back and you're like, "Why was I doing this? Or why was I thinking this?" It's dead interesting, and I like that we, through this, we're getting so much information fed about this Polkadot ecosystem and how it works, and then how these things are going to work together. So it's really interesting, and there's a practical application as well. On the 31st, activity seems to be kicking off on this snow parachain.
Yeah, cool. And you know what? If you haven't already, and you're an EyeonICON.xyz user, you really should be on HANA now. The team in the background streamlined the entire claim process from a Crowdloan perspective, but HANA, we covered it last week, and we're going to start covering HANA a lot more through the episodes, because I feel like their message has gotten lost in what they're trying to do as a wallet. But once you get that picture, well, for me personally, I was telling David, I've started to understand what HANA's trying to build, and now when I'm using the wallet, I use it. My mind processes things a little different, and I'm actually appreciating a lot of the changes they have made versus before I was struggling with it. But we'll save that for another day. Let's keep moving. We were trying to get through a 30-minute episode, and we're up to 36 minutes. The dev update for Snow. Did we have anything we wanted to touch on? Like, we've covered the airdrop claim, we've covered the EVM compatibilities being focused on, and we know kind of that layer will get launched officially with the DEX. What else have they covered here? Nothing. I think we've covered it all. We've literally talked about it.
Yeah, and they explained their focus, their development focus for October. So
you know what, David? I actually had a chat to Mo about this the other day. And I'm glad it's covered here. So if you're wondering what this is, so Snow launched, and every day a considerable amount of snow was getting burnt, and there's a patch actually happening at the moment to stop. So we had this ridiculous amount of inflation because all these tokens got printed for the airdrop and the total supply. But every day in the background, there's been a ton of snow getting burnt due to this auto burn bug. What a bug to have in the chain as a holder. Woo! But so this is getting fixed with a forkless upgrade. So this is part of the dot ecosystem, how it works and things like this, and how you can push updates like that. So it's cool to see this happening. But apart from that, I don't have any other call outs here.
Yeah. It just goes to show that the monitoring of the network, like, this is one of those things, right? This is one of the reasons why the team isn't going to get rushed or pressured into launching stuff a week or 2 weeks early. They're not going to do it. They're gonna make sure that this is monitored, well checked, safe and secure, that little bugs, auto burn bugs, get detected and get solved, and then they're going to continue with the progress. So there is no point getting angry. There is no point in calling out the team for being unprofessional because they're not launching on the date that you had set your expectations. Maybe go check yourself, because this team is very professional, and this team is actually addressing everything that needs to be addressed in launching and supporting this blockchain. And if you read the dev updates, you can stay up to date on what is happening, and your expectations would also be in line with reality. So I think that's like a top tip.
David, a lot of fire in you today, man. A lot of fire. Oof. Normally it's Fez rant, but today very subtle. David,
it's not even rant, is it? It's like it's a monotonous informational for the people out there that are not even listening, because
the ones that it's everyone who listens to this show is kind of, they appreciate everything about the ecosystem, want to know more, and they understand everyone's trying, and we saw a lot of this ledger integration, and it's a interesting point, but everything you want to add on top takes time. You're building a blockchain, you're doing all these other things, you're still trying to get partnerships, you're onboarding providers, you're trying to lure developers. At the same time, like, a ledger integration will take resources away from what needs to get done. So yes, these things are important, but eventually things got to get prioritized, and something falls at the bottom or lower on the list. So the ledger integration is actually happening. It's not that it's not going to be. It's being worked on. It just didn't make it in time for the airdrop for that level of integration. You can still claim your airdrop if your ICX was snapshot on the ledger, but just a bit of context there. Everything can't be ready for day one, but I think, David, we've spent enough time. Let's move on. The next bit of news is interesting. This is actually our first official confirmation of something where news had dropped, and I'm going to let David cover this. I'm just going to give context. So we know that this article got put out for digital IDs on the blockchain. Over to you, David.
Well, the Cointelegraph put out the article, and the title was Koreans to have access to blockchain-powered digital IDs. And obviously in the Icon community, a lot of alarm bells went off seeing this, saying, hey, is this in the background? Is Icon doing this? Because this looks awfully familiar to the enterprise use cases that have been explored in the past, that Icon is still working with the government to do so. And then, opinions differed. Like, no, it's probably not, or yes, it has to be Icon because we've done something in the past. I think it isn't. So it's not this particular article. This is not an Icon collaboration. This is not an Icon use case that is being reported on. And more interestingly, the claims in this article about it being fully decentralized are also likely not even to be accurate, because it's not common for these use cases to be fully decentralized. They're more likely to be or to run on private enterprise blockchains due to all sorts of security regulations and whatnot. So sometimes you have to even the news that you read here, you have to double check or be thoughtful about or mindful about what you take on and believe. But this is not an Icon collaboration.
So let's and to put, like, how do we know that? We went asking and we got confirmation. So in terms of, like, it is known, Icon Loop isn't the only one creating these services for the Korean government, right? So we got Jeju Island, and stuff's being used there, but there are other players in the market building stuff like that. And a while ago, I believe, from the licenses perspective, some other company in the government sector won that and we're creating. So from what we're led to believe, it's that same company that is doing something in this sector where it comes to this ID. So it's already part of an existing contract. It's just, CoinGraph has run with it as if it's a new thing. It isn't. It's just they've added an additional feature, it looks like. So it's not Icon Loop in the bigger scheme of things. And yeah, I know. I see stuff like this, David. Even I feel, this was our edge. But one thing, it's good to see any adoption over there like this is good to see, because it's come from a time where crypto was being pushed down, I guess, and then obviously with Terra's collapse, it has not helped the even though it's more friendly, it hasn't helped over there in terms of the stigma and what's happened. You can imagine corporations are even more worried now before they go to jump into jump into any blockchain, especially if it's public or anything like that where they can't control it directly. It would be they would be very cautious. So, yep, just in case, if you're seeing it, it's Icon or it's not Icon, nothing to be. There's there's people competing in this space, and this is an old contract that exists.
Yeah. What's that cover image, by the way?
This
is a guy. He's opening a door, but there's like electricity and an energy force coming out of the door. I don't know about this.
There's a key, you see. It's digital ID. I don't think he can see this lightning. It's
I hope he can't. Would you go into that door?
I wouldn't. I mean, yeah.
I hope he's closing it. I think he's closing the door.
I would run from a door like this, but that's just me, you know. Okay.
Wondering about that one. Okay, let's go.
Next up. Okay, what do we got? Ooh, boosted balance. It's time, is it? Launching 31st of October.
This is one of those things that, you know, I've been waiting for this for so long that I forgot about it. And when I saw this news, I was like, yeah, you know, I was really happy. I was like, it's happening, finally.
So I've learned something about you today, David. Yeah,
what's that?
A bit of a balanced whale, huh? Okay, go on.
No, but I'll tell you what I did. I had my balance in these liquidity pools forever until they announced like this vote for the boosted balanced, and then they kind of announced, this is before the Java migrations that took forever. They were going to implement this. So I took the balance out of the pool and I staked it because that was going to then increase my, boost my other activities.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting there doing nothing in staking for the better part of a year based on that news that the boosted balance is going to come. And every single time I thought, do I take it out and put it back again? Nah, it'll come. And eventually I just never did it again. So that's why, like, I just moved too soon on an announcement. And then, I think I just forgot to go online and ask when.
That was why, of course. Now we know.
But now it's here. And look at that. It's on the 31st of October. So that's going to be a busy Monday because we've got all this stuff happening on the Snow parachain.
Oh, yes, true. But so it's update the core contracts on the 31st, which pauses the network fee. So it's happening in stages, right? It's not just going to be bang.
Oh, should I have actually read the announcement first?
Yeah, I'm sure you've gone to, go and unstake, buy more balance or something, but you should have finished it. So it's going to be phased, right? Pause network fees. They do some of the upgrades of the core contracts. They reactivate the network fees on the 7th of November, and then they release live voting. Now, what is this live voting, David? Do you know?
I don't. What are we voting on?
I don't know. Let me get to the bottom of it. I can't remember what this live, but actually, yes, this is what I found interesting. So it's not the same as Ohm, right? Yeah, the locking up is the same, but what you're boosting is a little bit different. So it'll have the ability to delegate B balance to specific liquidity pools, right? This sounds cool, and in order to incentivize them with, the remaining balanced inflation. We know that a balance will keep inflating as low as when it's done 2% or something like that. So you can see projects can bribe B balance holders by offering incentives to vote for specific pools. So it's interesting. I this is what I've been excited about, because you and me, David, well, you, now that I realize you're a whale, I'll back off. Me and someone else who just doesn't have much balance, for example, we could go and nominate a pool that we've got liquidity in and boost it. But our boost will not match like another David, the whale David, going and boosting another pool, not the pool I'm interested in. So naturally, my boost becomes invalid because of his whalish ways. But imagine then some protocols building another layer in between, going to me and the other person who has no balance, pool all your balance together, and it'll form unified group, and we'll boost this pool, and you'll get the boosting rewards, the benefit of, the max boost. So this is where I start to get interested. It's like, okay, now we've got a protocol that fundamentally allows other builders to innovate on top of it by simple yet awesome tokenomics model. I'll stop there.
Yeah.
I could talk for hours.
Yeah, so a project like, for example, I like to name Gangsta Bet. They could say like, hey, we want our Crown liquidity pool, Crown BNUSD on balance. We want that to be more healthy. So we want balance to allocate more incentives to it, but they won't just do it. People need to vote for it. So what they say is, hey, if you vote for them, we're going to give you whatever we have, Crown token, GBET token, GG token, whatever. We're gonna bribe you, right?
Yeah. Love it. This is where we're entering the era of balanced wars, where everything's balanced in a war. No, that was a terrible joke. Okay, but exciting times. Okay, David. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think me and the other balanced whales, we have our annual balanced whale day out, so we're gonna go paintballing. And we'll talk about this and see how we can bribe for the better.
Of course, paintballing. Look at you, luxurious whale life. Okay, next up, Framd. They have dropped a major announcement. They've released their website, a new website, which is pretty sleek. What is this? The week of sleek websites. Look at it. Talking through all their projects, their new trading card game.
I'm going to nick some of this.
Are you going to go and take the code and replicate it?
Let's copy. Let's do a partner section as well. I really like this website. The color, it's so nice, and just the overall look and feel. And then on top of that, the functionality. So Framd.art is the main website of the Framd project. We've known them for now as the ArtFi NFT ecosystem with the Yeti Strong Club collection. And up till now, you had to kind of go through the Yeti Strong Club website to manage and handle your Framd token and all its tokenomics implied functionalities. From now on, you can just go to Framd.art, and it's just such a good looking website. It's got the app functionality for your token staking and however you want to go about managing that. It's got information on what it is that they do. What is it that they do, Fez?
Oh, they do so much. Like this is what else they actually now have kicked off Framd services. So they offer you blockchain NFT design and minting contracts, smart contract in Java and Solidity, and consulting services. So apart from being a major NFT ecosystem, where they partner and they have their own collections and they have unique tokenomics, and they're a validator for Icon that actually uses the Icon rewards to bolster the Framd ecosystem, which in turn helps all its holders. So it's not something that the team is benefiting from. Well, they benefit eventually because the entire ecosystem flourishes. So overall, we've covered it 1,000 times, but it's great to see. They do monthly updates. I love that they've launched their website with a Git book, not GitHub, Git book, which has all the tokenomics details and stuff, like your source of truth about the project. So again, it says a lot about a team that keeps building on transparency and updating. Like they already have this Framd app that you can do it off the Yeti site. Like they've taken the time and rebuilt it, from their actual, the higher branding, and the Yeti sit under it, and etc. But pretty cool. Love what they do. If you aren't already following any of their projects, check out their site. They'll show you all the projects that have launched and some of the stuff that's coming soon. And Yetis, yes, because I saw a Yeti at the end. When I claimed my airdrop, I tweeted about it, and I'm in a competition to win a Yeti. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win it, David.
Big chance. I saw that there were 1,870 airdrop claims, and I think they're doing 5 or 10 Yeti. So your chances are quite good.
Huge.
I'd be pissed off if I didn't win if I were you.
I'll be contacting Framd. Don't worry, they have a website now, so watch out. Okay, so that's majority of the news. The only other thing I quickly had, which is screen grabbed from the Icon Discord announcement bulletin. If you aren't following that or didn't realize this exists, you should be. Great work, Orosh and John. So, Studio MIRAI, we know it is MIRAI month, and they have another poker game. So, one, I believe, happened with the monks and everything at the start of the month. This one is October 23rd, so a few days from now. If you don't know how to play poker, it's about time you quickly study up and learn, just like David did when he built the website. And get on the Studio MIRAI Discord. Make sure you got to take part in certain things that they're running to be able to qualify for it. But there's a ton of stuff being given away. You've got Tamashi Tribe package, a ton of tokens as part of it. Oh, there's so many. Like, there's a Kodo package. There's a MIRAI Mart package, which is, what is that? That is like a store where you buy clothing and things like that, I believe.
A lifestyle brand, which is MIRAI Media, Studio MIRAI, MIRAI Mart, anything MIRAI. They're working on this lifestyle brand, and I actually saw a tweet pop by the other day with Kotaro posing wearing a Icon Studio MIRAI hoodie.
Was he sitting on the bench?
The bench.
You know, it's funny. Someone was like, teach him how to pose. Like, he's paid me thousands of dollars and I teach him every day. I've gone through posing classes with him. And then I saw that picture. I was so disappointed. But
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
But yeah, overall, one thing though, shout out to Ben. Even the other week when I touched on something and mentioned, it seemed as soon as the episode dropped, 2 hours later, he'd already DM'd me. Oh yes, I want to have him on the show. And literally, and we had this section towards the middle or end. So obviously he's a die-hard fan of the show. And as soon as the episodes drops, he listens to them to stay up to date with what's going on in the Icon ecosystem. And right away he reached out saying, I am available anytime for a show. So fault is on me for not having him on. Shame on me. But yeah,
Shame. So what's next? Will you get him on next week?
Oh, we're committing to timelines. Okay, no. So I got to talk to Bear. We got to get him on. Got to get Gangster Bet. I want to get Hannah. Yeah, I've got a big list. I've been bogged down with other work, but slowly coming back to it. Of course, before any of them come on, the next person we have on the show is Elise from marketing. I had actually locked in an interview and it's just been postponed a little bit, so the first one off the ranks will be that, and then all these other interviews will drop as well. And David, which one were we going to do together? Gangster Bet, that's right. So we got to tee that up. One other final announcement, I don't know if you noticed this, David, and I don't know if people know this, but EyeonICON actually has a guild for Project Nebula.
We do.
Don't say really. I know you know this. You're in the damn guild.
I said we do. We do. The EyeonICON Space Floaters Space Guild for space people who want to do space stuff.
That's right. Who want to float, David? Damn it, man! How many hours of lecturing about our motto to get this right? We're the floaters, and we float in Project Nebula, and we have a tight group that talk to each other once every few weeks. And recently, James, who won the Monks NFT raffle, he's joined the guild, which is fantastic. So I think we've got 7 members now. So if you want to be part of a guild, come on down. But more importantly, today I decided to do some floating, David. And when I started floating, it started prompting me with all these tutorials every time I went into a different screen. Now, it asked me, if you're an existing user, you don't need to watch it. But I wanted to watch it. I wanted to learn. And it's great. As a first-time user, you don't just drop in with a ship and then go, holy crap, what do I do? Every time you click on a screen, a tutorial with information on every component on the page and what you're looking at pops up and tells you that, so you get educated before you play. So I think it was a cool feature that got added, and definitely was the right steps to make the game more accessible to anyone and everyone, especially new floaters. That's all. David, anything to add?
I agree with everything you say, always, Fez, and in this case, nothing has changed.
Excellent, good. That's the floater's code. Agree with what Fez says. Oh no, I'm not like some kind of tyrant in there. Now, I think that's all we have this week. Once again, let's go back to the Sleek site, and this time let's look at it in day mode. And David, amazing work with the site. Community, any support and every support you can give us, it would mean a lot if you go and throw, just as David said, a little bit to the node. Now, yes, we're not giving tokens on top. They're not doing this. We're not doing that at the moment. I was warned not to talk alpha at the moment. Okay, like this is the first step. There's a ton of stuff still coming and getting done in the background, but as you can see, like the goal here was get EyeonICON published. If people wanted to nominate, to make it kind of seamless, but at the same time take votes the right way from the right people. For example, there's a few people like Gangsterbet and these teams are all framed. They're all building. And they should be getting votes because it aids them to keep doing what they're doing. And here's EyeonICON, and we're kind of gone, yeah, we're bringing the news. We're doing some building in the background now, and at the same time, we've identified all these people who've got tons of vote that aren't doing anything, just banking money. They're not even paying to have the validator running while they're banking money. Well, we'll take those votes, put those votes to us so that we can do more and help the Icon ecosystem. And as David was talking, I thought of a cool idea, David. We got the CPS goes, essentially voting happens once a month, right? What we should start doing, and I'm officially announcing this without any pre-discussion based on what David said, is let's do a live stream, and whoever decides to join the community, you don't have to have voted for EyeonICON. You can join and we'll go through and then we'll do a bit of a tally of what the audience is weighing towards. Do they want to see CPS funded, their validator, And so it's not just EyeonICON as a validator making decisions. We're trying to pool and go to the community and get some answers from them. Now, I'm worried that no one will turn up to these live streams, but it doesn't matter, David. We'll do them and we'll have some fun at them.
It'll be a good time.
It will. If you and when we do it, please turn up. But overall, not financial advice. Thank you everyone again for listening. We spent a solid 11 minutes on EyeonICON at the start and then a solid 4 minutes at the end. So really appreciate everyone hearing about EyeonICON this time. And until next week.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.